Alright, what's up? I'm gonna talk about anime again. It's been a while. We're gonna do it again. Isn't that crazy? We are going to talk about anime again. The last time I did this was April 30th, 2023. So it's just gonna be an update on things, I suppose. So, yeah, just get into it. So since then, I have updated my top 10 so that it can only include things. It can only include things from, like, it can only be one thing per series, so Kaguya-sama, there's only one in there now, when there used to be two. Same with Attack on Titan, actually. I think that's it. But, you know, it just future-proofs. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? It was just getting, you know, I just wanted some more anime to shine. You know, just more variety in the list. I think I made Chainsaw Man a 9? No, I made Cyberpunk a 9. No, I didn't. Okay, I was high-key considering it. Okay, so since April 2022, or 2023, rather, I've watched Hunter x Hunter, and it is really, really, really good. If you care about spoilers, then cover your ears for like 10 seconds or 20, I don't fucking know. Not anything crazy, but, you know. The ending is a cliffhanger, essentially, because there are two very important things that never get brought up again. Well, like, they get, like, one of them gets shown, like, at the end as, like, you know, that they're acknowledging, like, yeah, we haven't fucking said shit about this yet. But, like, okay, so here's the weird thing, right? Obviously, like, you got this guy. Right, wait, can you see my cursor, actually? Ah, shit, you can't see my cursor. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. So, obviously, main character, and then you meet these two in the same episode, and then you meet him a few episodes later. These two stick with each other, like, the entire time, whereas these two, it actually doesn't take that long for them to separate. But then he comes back, kind of, and he never comes back. Essentially, like, we do get a lot of episodes just dedicated to him. But yeah, like, it just kind of goes in a weird direction. The anime itself, though, is fucking fantastic, though. Like, literally, right? The only reason it's not a 10 is because of two important things. Him, and then, like, just some other build-up thing that they just never really got to. Apparently, it was because, like, the creator was, like, ill or something at the time. I think it's being continued now, like, manga-wise, but yeah, it's just... Obviously, I'm only judging the anime, not the manga. Alright, so... Oh, and, like, the last arc was really good, but, like, the way that they kind of conclude, like, the final arc is a bit weird, because it's, like... I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's just kind of... Part of the battle feels unnecessary when you find out what is the cause for victory. It makes you wonder, well, yeah, like, the things that happened afterwards, you know, prevented things from getting worse, but it was already set in stone, like, partway through the battle. We just didn't know it at that point in time, but, like, it would have been set in stone anyway, so it's like... You know what I mean? So it was a little anticlimactic. But really good anime overall. Fan-fucking-tastic, dude. I binged it so hard. I don't even remember how many episodes, like 70, 80 episodes. And then I stopped for a while because stuff happened and I got a bit of burnout. And then I just picked it back up again and so basically in 2 separate bursts, just completed it. So good. So that is why, despite its 2 pretty fucking big well, One is a lot bigger than the other, but the two relatively... Well, one of them's relatively big, the other one just is big. It's still a 9, and it's still deserving of a top 10. I think that's the only thing we need to talk about. Let me check the original list. I moved some stuff around, but it's like, who cares? Nichijou was on this list. Not in the original video, but I'm saying, like, after the fact. But is gone now. In favor of Spy X Family Part 2, but that was already there in the original video. Like... Yeah, it's basically just a removal of one of the Kaguya-samas and one of the Attack on Titans in exchange for Hunter x Hunter and Jujutsu Kaisen. That's the other one. Jujutsu Kaisen is so good, bro. It's like kind of hard to explain why though. It just builds up like a really big, and like all the battles are fucking cool and intense, and all the characters are really cool. And like it shows you like the massive power gap between the main characters and like the villains and Gojo as well, because he is so insanely overpowered. He's literally like the Goku equivalent in the universe, I suppose. And yeah, season 2 isn't quite as good in my opinion. I did also watch season 2. It's not quite as good, but it's higher, fucking high. But yeah, just like a lot of action, you know, looks really nice. Pretty funny from time to time. They got some good twists and turns. And yeah, it's just really good. I recommend it. There's also a prequel, which introduces, like, some of these characters here, and yeah, it's pretty... also pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot the Mal changed how they review shit. Or how they show reviews. They do it now so that, like, when you look at the reviews, it shows you 3, and then, like, the first one's recommended, the second one's mixed, and the third one's not recommended. They always show literally the most overrated anime in the world. See, here's the thing, right? When you... Like, there could be an anime... Like, I've literally seen someone rate Your Name, like, a 1 or a 2. And I might have complained about this in the original video, but it, like... I feel like, objectively, you'll literally just not... Like, your opinion's invalid, because, like... Literally, the animation alone would prevent it from being that low, because 2 is, like... an abomination, and 1 is like it made your life worse from watching it, and 2 is like an abomination, so it's like physically impossible for Your Name to... Anyway, getting sidetracked. Alright, so those are the changes to the list, and then I'm just gonna try and go down and see like just anything post like April 30th. Alright, so Aggretsuko. So, I watched the original 3 seasons of Aggretsuko. At the time, I hadn't seen season 4. I have seen it now. I don't know what I saw in the series originally, because I rated season 3 a 9, and I think I actually bumped it down to an 8. I was definitely considering it. Jam told me, my brother, Jam, he told me that I was just too lenient with my... ratings. And I think he's too harsh with his ratings, honestly, but... I can kind of see where he's coming from. So I was thinking of being harsher. I'm also actually, I forgot to mention this, I'm actually rewatching Kill la Kill. I'm rewatching Kill la Kill. Right now, I just finished episode 5. People would commonly say, like, really? Like, it's you gave it a 10, like, it's your 4th favorite? Like, why? But, like, I'm rewatching it, and it's still super good. Like, I've only had tiny negatives to say. The animation is fantastic. The action is superb. The art style is fucking 10 out of 10. It's really funny. I just love the premise and everything, and I love the voice acting. And the stakes are already really high, and there's just like a lot of story to be had. Some people criticize it's pretty sexual fan service, but this anime does fan service better than any anime I've ever watched. Because like the characters are like the main character is like half naked, but it's literally tied to like the uniform, like draining her blood and stuff like that, and it's like based on confidence and all that shit. Like the way that they pose it, and whenever there is like a side joke about like, oh my god, look at her tits or whatever, it's like it's usually kept very short, so not to overstay its welcome, and it's just really enjoyable. The show is like, unfortunately, the main character is 17. Like, they were so close, but they're like, nope, she can't be 18, she gotta be 17. Like, of course, bro. But if you ignore that, it's really fucking good. Which, I already talked about it before, but I have a much clearer mind, because I watched it originally in 2019 when I had hand pain. I could barely remember it, to be honest. But yeah, it's really good, and the consistency is very high. I don't expect to like things as much on the second watch, but like, so I am keeping that in mind. I'm not expecting it to stay in the same place, like 4th. I'm just hoping it stays in the top 10, which I'm pretty confident it will so far. So yeah, now we can, okay, Frieren already. Okay, so Frieren is currently the highest rated anime on this website, and is not even finished. Next episode's coming out. I'm recording this, it's technically Friday, but it's basically Thursday. It's coming out tomorrow. Episode 26's. I don't really get why it's the #1 most rated. I get why it'd be rated very high. But there are a couple episodes that are pretty boring, and the pacing's kind of whack, and you know, it's very melancholy. Wait, what is it? Melancholy? Yeah, melancholy. A feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause. It's just like a slightly depressing show at all times. There were people... I thought this was gonna be a horribly depressing show, because people on Twitter were like, oh man, I thought it was gonna be like, Konosuba. If any of you know what that is, I talked about it before. I thought it was gonna be like Konosuba, but it's actually super depressing. I thought it was gonna be really hard to watch, which is why I watched it ahead of time, because I was like, oh, I prefer binging stuff, but I was like, if I just watch it weekly, it won't be that hard to get through. People are babies, bro. Attack on Titan's way more depressing, and I also got through that just fine. I don't generally like going through sad anime, but it's literally just melancholy, like, it's fine. And they got, like, little jokes, you know? Not anything crazy. They don't do anything wacky, but it's just, you know, they got some little subtle jokes, it's good. And, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's pretty good. There's been some action, and right now they're in the middle of, like, a test. Frieren's trying to get her, her license, some shit, I forgot, magic license thing. She could be a, yeah, I don't know. But basically, so the story is that she's like 1,000 years, they don't really sexualize it, don't worry, but yeah, she's like 1,000 years old, and she was originally partying with the party of heroes who took down the Demon King, but she's obviously the only one left alive, and now she's traveling with new friends, trying to seek value in human life when comparative to her age, like, they just come and go. She blinks in the dead, so she's trying to, like, connect more. So it's about her, like, being more human. Yeah, it's really good. Still, like, I don't know what I'm probably gonna rate it at 9. Without factoring Kill la Kill, like, if I was just able to finish Frieren, like, now... Honestly, yeah, I'd say it's maybe better than Spy X Family Part 2, probably. Alright, yeah, here's a funny one. Gushing over magical girls, right? This shit is fucking weird. So I knew that it was about a pervert girl. She's like a lesbian, I guess. I didn't realize it was literally hentai. Like, I genuinely didn't know that it was straight up, like, actual legitimate hentai. And the thing is, right?
need the right tools
An
to
ad is
make.
playing. And the thing is, right? It's just kind of funny because, like, it was incredibly unexpected by me. And apparently it's way more sexual than even the manga, which is usually not the case. It's usually reversed. It's usually flipped. It's very sexual. They always have fan service every episode where, like, some characters are naked and stuff. So basically, the plot... These three at the front are, like, villains. But they just kind of happen to waltz in on, like, an evil organization. But, like, they all have their own, like, motives, even if they're not super strong. This girl, the main character, she's just a pervert who likes doing BDSM shit with the magical girls. This girl, she hated that the magical girls were getting, attention over her or whatever. I don't even remember what her thing was, this girl. Also, they show her naked for like 10 seconds in one episode, and they never state her age, but I'm pretty fucking positive she is not 18. Which is, unfortunate. Not unfortunate because I want to see her or whatever, but, like, I mean, unfortunate that, like, they could have just not shown her naked, you know what I mean? But anyway, now the part of the story that we're on is that, these three are beefing with, like, a proper evil organization. Anyway, there have been a couple dips in quality, but, like, if you ignore the sexual stuff and just genuinely treat it for what it is, yeah, honestly, I'd give it, like, a 7. Genuinely not bad. Like, genuinely not bad. It's kind of funny. I like the character designs. I like the idea of characters being villains when they don't want to, and then they just progressively get more and more into it. It's an interesting take in that sense. And also, I'm not going to say which one, but one of these girls starts to lose her edges as the anime goes on. And one of them almost succumbs to, like, being a fucking sub to her, almost. So yeah, some character development and, you know, yeah, just actually interesting. Apparently it's not very well liked in Japan from what I've heard. I do kind of hope it gets a season 2 though. It's unironically worth watching. Like, if you don't mind the sexual stuff, like, I wouldn't watch it just for the sexual stuff. I'm just saying, like, even without the sexual stuff, it's good. Yeah, 7 out of 10. But, like, yeah, if it was literally just a pervert girl and it was just, like, softcore shit, yeah, 7 out of 10. I'm not rating it any higher because it's got hardcore, because I don't really think it makes it better, because they always have to dedicate time to it every episode, so if anything, it probably hurts it a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, 7 out of 10, I think is very fair. Well, the last couple episodes have been a little lacking. Oh, there was one thing that happened that was kind of annoying. This girl meets one of the because, like, when they're not in the uniform, like, when these villains are not in the uniforms, like, the magical girls don't know who they are, even though these two attend the same school. So her and one of the magical girls meet up somewhere at a convention. And it would have been, like, it would have been so good, because, like, one of them was losing morale, and it would have been so good if they both boosted each other's confidence without even realizing it, and because then they have a fight afterwards, too. It would have been so good. Such good writing. And it felt like a, grossly missed, obvious opportunity. They just happened to go to the same convention, and that's just kind of, like, I don't know, it's just... For the skill, it's just kind of whatever. It doesn't really progress anything. For the magical girl, it does a bit, but like, you could have just had an interaction. You could have had, I mean, they do interact, but, like, you could have had a meaningful interaction that meant something. It's so unfortunate that's not where it goes. This anime is a bit weird. Okay, don't let this fool you. The first episode is literally like an hour 20. So I've seen like 5 episodes basically. So the premise is that this guy was originally a doctor, and he was helping this idol secretly give birth, but then a crazy stalker fan kills the doctor, and then also this girl was a cancer patient in the same hospital, and they both reincarnate into the idol's babies. Although this far in the story, they don't know who they were in the past. I don't know, like, they've literally grown up to be teenagers, and apparently they've never asked each other what they were doing in their past lives. Like, that is completely unbelievable. That's one of the reasons why it's just one of the negatives I have. I don't have a ton of negatives, it's one of the negatives I have with it. It's like, that's completely unrealistic. Makes no sense. I don't know how much these characters are gonna play into the story, but this girl was like in episode 1. They were kids. Like, episode 1 was showing them the beginning, and then them being like very young, and then fast forward a couple years every now and then. But episode 2 is when they actually stop being teenagers. I'm not gonna spoil what happens in episode 1, but there's a huge, not huge, but there's a pretty big character shift, like, with one of them. And I am actually interested where it's gonna go. The art style is pretty good, but it's like a bit too saturated, a bit too warm almost, which sucks. But like, in terms of like effort put in and like the quality of it, the visuals are fucking insane. And it's kind of funny sometimes, just when it needs to be. And yeah, it's just painting a world of like the, you know, the harsh reality of show business and all that stuff. So I guess it's also melancholy. Wait, this is season 2? Okay, well, I assume season 1 does not end. Okay, well... Okay, well, anyway, yeah, I'd say it's a little depressing sometimes, but if you don't mind that, it's definitely worth watching. Very interesting, and I am looking forward to seeing where it goes. The only thing, though, is a bit weird. Right now, I'd either rate it an 8 or a 9, but more so in objective quality rather than like actual enjoyment value, because I'm actually kind of like, I would say that I'm enjoying Magical Girls probably as much, even though the rating difference between the two is at least a point. That's just kind of my brain works. Also, there's another ad. I hate that ad blockers don't work properly anymore, man. Alright. Aggretsuko Season 4. Same animators. The same company has, like, done Hello Kitty shit. But yeah, it's literally just an animal world, like, where this girl works at a fucking shitty-ass job. And she takes her frustrations out in karaoke by doing the death metal shit. And she doesn't want anyone to know. But yeah, these two are, like, slowly falling in love and stuff, and then, but there's always, like, some problem. They gotta overcome it. By the 4th season, it just is, at that point, it's kind of like, alright guys, come on. And, yeah, the 5th season takes it in a different... I'm not gonna say, obviously I'm not gonna spoil it, but it does take it in a different direction so far. I've only seen 2 episodes. I don't know, just not in the mood to watch it. It's good. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but so far, but I don't know. I'd say 7 out of 10. Again, I'd rather watch Magical Girls. But yeah, it's good. Not gonna dive into it much because I already talked about it. The first 3 seasons, and season 4 is essentially more of the same. I can't believe I started watching Attack on Titan nearly 2 years ago, dude. The only thing to talk about in regards to Attack on Titan are the 2 specials that came out. However, I don't see them in this list for some reason. Hold on. Oh wait, it's these 2. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, okay, so... At the time, only one of the specials have been released. The other one came out in November. It's so good. They're just peak Attack on Titan the entire way. I mean, most people know Attack on Titan, you know, it's just like... I hate Titans. They killed my family, bruv. I gotta, like, kill the Titans. Oh, but I turned into a Titan. No. No. And then I go through some shit. But yeah, it becomes much more big brain than that. Like, because, like, the way that Attack on Titan functions, when it finally answers those, like, 2 questions you've been wanting answered by the end of the season, you have, like, 5 more questions. Finally, it is finally actually officially over now. And god, the second special especially was so fucking good. And apparently the ending was, like, very controversial. Like, the manga's ending was disliked, majority disliked. So the anime changed it a little bit, and it's just kind of like 50-50. I like it. I don't think it's perfect, but I like it. I mean, I can completely see why they did that ending. It makes complete perfect sense. And it's still, like, partly... It fits the theme of Attack on Titan of partly happy, partly sad, like, conclusion to an arc. It's like half happy, half sad. And yeah, that makes perfect sense. I like the ending. However, I still have not put it in the top 10 because the first 8 episodes of the season was so fucking good. They were even better. The last 2 episodes weren't as good. And they drag it a tiny bit, but like, watching that shit for the first time when I had less Attack on Titan injected into my veins just made it all the more exciting. Although don't get into it, so the specials are... If I were allowing, like, multiple series, like, it would be right behind Season 3 Part 2. Like, just straight up. So good. Bloom Into You. I talked about it briefly originally, just lesbian anime shit. Where it's like... love triangle. This girl doesn't understand love really, but then she gets more into it as it goes on. This girl doesn't want her to fall in love with her, and then you got like the pink-haired girl who loves her, but then yeah. It ends. Okay, spoilers I guess, but I don't really give a fuck. If you give a fuck, skip ahead a little bit. It ends on a cliffhanger, and considering it ended in 2018, we are not getting a season 2. Apparently, it just wasn't received well. So it's like probably never getting a season 2. So yeah, it just ends on a fucking cliffhanger. Why did I give it a 7? Because it's visually impressive, and some scenes feel very human in the way that they're written. And it's got an interesting story, like towards the end of the season. Even if it ends up going nowhere, because it ends on a fucking cliffhanger. Ignore this. Let's see. Defrag was so disappointing. We already talked about that before. I want to rewatch Death Note. I want to know if, like, the latter half is as bad as I remember. Dude, when's the fucking next season of Nagatoro? I'm looking now, like, looking at... Dude, I watched so much stuff in 2023. Yeah, in 2022, rather. I know I got more to talk about, bro. Where's it at? Here we go. Horimiya. Okay, so it's a rom-com, slice of life, but it takes it in a different direction that I was genuinely not expecting. I was disappointed at first, but it actually surprisingly works really well. So basically, there's not a spoiler because it literally happens in like episode 2 or 3. See this guy? He is the main character, and she's like the other main character. So, you know, this girl's got a, friend group, Some of them come a little later, but generally it's good. You know, she's got the friend group, and then she kind of drags. Well, like a whole like she's not like yeah. They end up talking. They actually get together early on. Most of these anime, they either go out in like the second to last episode, or like right at the end of the last episode, or it's like heavily implied at least, or something like that. And then they'll just have like a couple OVAs, which is like, oh look, they're going out. That's not what happens here. They go out early, as more of like the relationship things after that. And yeah, it's actually really interesting. I actually like all these characters, and there are some tough love situations, you know, it's like some of them get fucked out of the situation, and there's just like nothing you can do kind of thing. Although I don't like, okay, I don't like the approach they took with like, even at the end of the season, because like early on these two are like, oh, we'll get to know each other as we go on, and then at the end of the season they're like, oh, still don't know anything about each other. It's like, how the fuck do you still not know anything about each other still? It's actually insane. Also, they do this stupid thing that I'll complain about in a minute. You see this girl though? Dude, she looks almost exactly like one of the K-On! Characters, except with like more yellowish hair, but like she looks the same. I actually really like her. She's really cute. I love that her sleeves go over her hands. But she gets into like some weird love situation. I'm kind of rooting for her, even though like it is completely betrayed as like she's being selfish, she's being unfair to like one of the other girls. And welcome back to this like she doesn't really deserve it in comparison, but you still, I don't know, she's just written in a lovable way. I like her. Yeah, just slice of life, just relationship stuff, and yeah. Now, this is the other thing that's stupid as fuck. I almost always like rank anime separately, like seasons and shit. But there are some exceptions, and this is one of them. This is literally just manga chapters translated to anime that didn't make it into the first season. So it's just bonus content, but technically, like, it's of the same quality as Season 1, except it's worse, because you know that it's side content. Like, because it's side content, a lot of people would only watch the first season. So the characters are generally pretty underdeveloped for 13 episodes. And then these episodes really flesh them out, but it should have been part of the package anyway if you were literally going to just fucking translate it anyway. Especially, you see this girl? They do a lot with her in these 13 episodes. And her too. The one that looks like the K-On! Character. It's literally just as good, but worse because it's technically kind of not canon. It's fucking stupid. So, yeah. In my opinion, you should rate them both as like a whole package. But I didn't really do that, so I gave it a 7. Hunter x Hunter? I already talked about that. Oh, dude, I forgot about Villainous. I shrimply must complain now. Alright, so this is one of those anime where it's like main character gets transported into like into romance novel, visual novel game thing, fantasy world, and falls in love with like the main characters of the game, bruv. So it's a girl, she just gets transported to this world, and then she starts simping over this girl. She's not a love option in the game normally, but yeah. Like, the girl's like a massive tsundere, which is how she likes her, and then the friendship becomes more and more like... It doesn't get more romantic as such, I mean, a little bit, but not anything crazy. But yeah, it's literally like... It's just, okay, so it's really funny at first. And the concept is kind of interesting. And yeah, it's just good fun. It's like an 8 out of 10 good. As a matter of fact, in like episode 3 or 4, she just openly admits to being like a lesbian, and all the friends are cool with it, and they just have this like nice message about like, doesn't matter what your sexuality is and all that stuff, right? And it's really nice. Bitch Tsundere girl even stands up for her too at one point. And then they fucking ruin it. They absolutely fucking ruined it, and I'm pissed off, right? You wanna know how they ruined it? Incest. Twice. They fully justify incest, and it's not like some mistranslation thing. The main character literally says at the end of the first incest arc, oh, it's so unfair that you can't love who you want to. Like, they literally treat it, and I'm really not paraphrasing. That's not the right word. I'm not stretching it whatsoever. They genuinely put being gay on the exact same level as incest. Twice. Literally twice. Why? It's fucking annoying. And like... And it's important to the plot as well. To both. And then, spoilers again. Like, the second one is especially incest because, like, Tsundere girl's sister comes to town or whatever. And then she's, like, unironically, like, and then this girl's gotta, like, prove her love. And then, like, again, spoilers. These two start dating at the end of the show, and she says something that 100% hints at a season 2. I don't think it's ever fucking getting it, to be honest. With how mid it is. Like, the love, like, she loves her out of literally nowhere. It feels like they skipped 500 fucking chapters. It's like, dude, what the fuck? And it's just double incest, and it's just fucking... Like, it went from funny and genuinely had a good message, and it just fucking ruined it with incest for no reason, dude. It didn't have to be incest. It didn't have to do incest. And then they didn't have to rush the second plot into a second season, into the end of the first season. They could have had it be its own entire second season, and it would have been so much more believable. But yeah, it's extremely rushed. It's hard, like, two just not good arcs. Yeah, just fucking ruined it for itself. I give it a 7, but it's a really low 7. Worse than Magical Girls, definitely. Alright, let's have a look. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. There's a lot more action in this season. A lot more action, a lot more stakes. Something absolutely fucking crazy happens in, like, episode, like, 19 or 20. I'm not gonna say. But it's actually insane, and I actually don't know how they're gonna play it out in the next season. But yeah, it's really good. It's rated higher than the first season, but I like the first season a lot more. Second season starts off with, like, some flashback stuff. It just goes on a little too long. Don't get it twisted, shit's fucking good. Ah, damn. Kaguya-sama... Okay, so... It's portrayed like a movie. But it's literally... They keep playing the intro and outro. It is actually just a bunch of episodes. So this is the canonical ending to Kaguya-sama. So it takes place, like, right after the events of the final season. And, yeah, just... Obviously, it tackles more of like the relationship side than comedy, but there is a lot of comedy, but there's also a lot of sag. And yeah, there are some things I don't really like about it, like the intro and outro playing constantly. And like, there are just some parts I just don't think are very fair on one of the characters. And there's another thing I want to complain about, but I can't because of spoilers. But yeah, it's like low 9. The Kaguya-sama series as a whole is fantastic, dude. I've watched season 1 3 times, and only by the third one would I have rated it a 9, but at that point, you know, 10, 10, 9, it deserves a 10 at that point, so that's why it's still 10. Season 2 is like a 9. And then season 3 is a fucking 10. Not as good as season 1 because the way it ends is a little iffy. And then the specials are a 9. Like, if I had to rate the show on a whole, probably like a really high 9. Is that Maple Treeway music? That's cool. I normally have my headphones off when I'm doing these videos, but eh. Because it's like distracting, but I'm not getting distracted this time, I feel like, so that's good. Oh, dude, okay. This is a lesbian anime. It just starts with them already dating. Is an hour long, so it's basically 3 episodes. So it's just a little bit of dynamic because, like, one of them is really tomboyish, the other one, well, they both, I think this one has, like, no relationship experience. And then there's an issue because, like, one of them's going to study at one university and the other one's going to study at another, so it's like, yeah. Also, this is not a spoiler because it, like, I mean, not really, kind of-ish, but not really. In the manga, they apparently just have sex. It's, like, slightly implied in the anime that happened, but, like, not really. But yeah, in the manga, they apparently had sex. But yeah, basically, the issue with this anime is that it's only an hour long. Nowhere near enough time to flesh out these characters. If it were 2 hours long, I could have very easily seen it getting an A, at least. Because like, the characters are likable, the dynamic is good. But they obviously have to rush, like, basically everything. Even, like, confrontational shit, they just have to rush, like, everything. And the ending's, like, a little stupid, kind of. But yeah, it's good. It's a good show. Good. If you like lesbians, I suggest, and just romance, and you don't want to dedicate, like, hours and hours and hours, you just want to dedicate, like, 1 hour, I recommend it. I know there's more, dude. Can't fucking fool me. Naruto? I literally don't remember this. I'm just gonna skip the Naruto stuff. I really just don't fucking care about Naruto for that. Shippuden was good, but like... Okay, Nichijou. It's just really funny and charming. That's all I can really say. And I was really sad when the show ended. Also, there's this girl. It was like a robot, and she got like a wind-up thing on her back, and it like bothers her the entire time. I don't know why, but she's like just the most lovable character in the show. Just something about her. She's fantastic. But yeah, that's all I can really say. Really charming, has aged super well. 2011, dude, and it still looked really good. And I was so sad when it ended. So yeah, that's all I can really say. If you just want literally just a funny show that's charming, there you go. Really good. One of the best like comedy slice of lives I've seen. Like I prefer Kaguya-sama for comedy shit, but you could also argue that like, oh, it's also about romance. If you just don't want romance, like you literally just want funny, then Nichijou is like absolutely one of the best. I mean, it already is, but yeah. Does anyone really care about the One Piece ship? Probably not. Dude, One Piece Red went on for way too fucking long. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. It was kind of sad at some points, but yeah, it just goes on for so goddamn long. It could have easily been in like an hour 30 or an hour 25. Just gonna skip the One Piece stuff, I think. Dude, One Punch Man, like, what the fuck are they doing, dude? Season 2 came out in 2019. Season 3 was announced years ago. And it still doesn't even have a year. It's probably literally coming out in 2025 or more. Road of Naruto. Shit, bitch. Ah, Romantic Killer. Okay, this show's good. Right? So it's an anime where this girl is just like a NEET. She doesn't give a fuck about romance. So then this magical monster creature thing is like, I get paid to like have NEETs like you fall in love. So I'm going to like force situation. Like they can't force romance. Like, you know, it's against their rules, like if Fairly Odd Parents, but they can create scenarios where the characters have to talk to each other, for example, for romance purposes. So, she just bumps into the characters, and it's usually, like, conventionally attractive characters who... like, everyone else fangirls over them, but she's the only one who doesn't, so they take interest in her, and then just obviously situations are forced on them, so they have to talk. But it actually gets really fucking, like, it goes from really funny. This episode's so funny. One of the funniest episodes of anime I've ever watched, really. It's so funny. But, like, being for real, though, like... it gets so serious. Like, halfway through, it starts getting super serious because there's, like, a stalker situation. And, like, some of them are, like, having panic attacks and shit. And then, like, the stalker keeps coming back and it's just, like, a whole thing. The ending's a little cheesy. It's a bit much, even for me. I usually like my happy endings, but it's just like, fucking hell, bro. But it actually, like, I just love the way it portrays, like, this super serious situation and, like, the panic attacks and shit. It's like, it does a complete 180, which is why I understand why people wouldn't like that, but it's just, like, the way they do it is so fucking good. I think 8.01 is not a fair rating. I really do think it deserves to be higher. It's really good. Highly recommended to people who want a bit of romance comedy, but also want some drama. Spy X Family Season 2. Just more of the same, really. Obviously, like I said, you got Secret Spy, Secret Assassin, Girl Who Can Read Minds. This one is more of the same. Each Spy X Family season has, like, an arc that takes up, like almost half the season. For, like, big character development stuff. This time it takes place on a boat, and it's pretty good. But, like, the episodes afterwards take a bit of a dip. Well, the last episode's pretty good. It might be my least favorite season, but it is pretty good. Yeah. Tomo-chan is a girl. This one's a rom-com. Slice of life. This guy just treats this girl like she's a guy. Because he didn't even know that she wasn't a guy until, like, middle school. So he's always just you know, they're always fighting stuff, like physically fight. It's just, you know. And she is tomboyish as fuck, but she's trying to be more feminine to get him to realize that she loves him or whatever. Right? There's incest in this one too. This one's even weirder because they don't even try to like make it a thing. It, like, literally, right? The girl gets introduced as like the cousin to this guy, and then like 2 episodes later, it's like, oh, I like this guy. But it's never like, oh, you're related. Literally, they never bring it up again. I'm not exaggerating. They literally never imply or bring it up again, ever. Which is why it's so fucking weird. I just don't understand. And also, the last episode's kind of lame. So yeah, it's like a low 8. But I recommend it to people who like rom-com shit, you know? Dude, I watched Toradora this recently. Dude. I thought I watched it like 5 fucking months ago or something. Well, I guess it's been like 3.5, but still. This anime was super popular back in the day. I feel like now it isn't appreciated as much because a lot of anime have done what it set out to do. And some of them have done it better because obviously they've had time to... you know, more time to learn what people like and just refine flaws. You just have, like, girl who can't take care of herself and she's a massive tsundere, and then you just got main character guy who just goes along with it. Plus, like, a love triangle thing. It's just essentially what you would expect in that regard. And, yeah, that's basically it. I mean... again, I mean, the last couple episodes are kind of lame, and it just takes itself too seriously sometimes. But yeah, it's good. And the relationship, like, the progression of the friendship just does feel natural. So I'll give them that. Oh, this is just a, yeah. Zom 100. Zom 100 is weird. They kept having production issues. They kept doing, like, massive delays. But finally, the show's fully out. It has been for a while, to be fair. It's pretty good. Like, episode 1 is taken fully seriously. They tell, like, no jokes, almost. It's a guy stuck in a horrible fucking abusive job. And then out of nowhere, it hasn't been explained yet, but out of nowhere, zombie apocalypse happens. And the main character is genuinely so happy. Because before he gets turned into a zombie, he's made a bucket list of things he's got to do. And then he meets a college friend, I think. And then meets this girl who's originally very, like, up her own ass. But then she learns to, like, let loose. And then you got this girl who's a foreigner. And she's, like, super into Japanese culture or whatever. But yeah, it's mostly comedy, but they know how to have the serious moments. Art style's fantastic. The first episode's amazing. But they still haven't explained shit. And, like, the way it's set up, it's very safe, very... this could go on for 10 seasons if they wanted to. I'm kind of worried about that, but we'll see. And the production issues do suck, even if it doesn't matter now because it's out. Just kind of annoying, you know? But yeah, I recommend it. Bit of comedy, bit of seriousness. Just, yeah, good stuff. Dude, I need to keep watching Fullmetal Alchemist. Like, it's actually really good. Like, easy, at least 9 out of 10. Oh, now we've gone to the stuff I want to watch. I need to watch ReZero. Oh yeah, Panty and Stocking. I forgot this got announced. No news on it yet, though. Monthly Girls. I think I remember adding this. Humanity has declined. Me when fish and chips cost like 12 quid now. Damn, this was not as long as I thought it was gonna be. I guess the only thing that I can really comment on then is One Piece. We're finally on a new arc, Egghead. Handful of episodes in. It is already interesting, and they brought back a character we haven't seen in hundreds and hundreds of episodes. It makes me wonder what they're gonna do with her. Like, I mean, they've already revealed some big stuff, but like, I'm wondering, like, maybe she could be a member of the Straw Hats. Who knows? There's also a theory, but has not been proven even in the manga. For some reason, people are theorizing that one of the main characters is gonna eat a devil fruit. Like one of the Straw Hats. And if they do, then I feel like it basically has to be Nami or Usopp, because, like, Zoro and Sanji, like, the whole thing is that, like, Zoro's barely ahead of Sanji at all times. So if Zoro eats the fruit, then he's way ahead. If Sanji eats the fruit, then he's just ahead. And Zoro and Sanji got massive buffs in Wano, so it just wouldn't make sense to give him... They're bound to get buffs again, but I mean, like, massive, massive buffs, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, one of them would have to eat the fruit, and then the other one would have to get a huge buff to compensate, but they've already been given enormous buffs. You know, and a lot of the Straw Hats have already eaten fruits. Sen is, and then, you know, Frankie is already like a cyborg, so there's not really any point in him eating a fruit. It'd be a bit redundant. Nami got a buff in Wano, although we have yet to see the full effect of that, but it is a big buff. I'm not going to spoil it, though. But we know it's a pretty big buff. But if she did get one, it'd be obviously a weather fruit. And Usopp, getting a fruit would kind of defeat his purpose, because he's supposed to be like a coward. But his dream, obviously all the Straw Hats are going to achieve the dreams before the fucking, or by the time the show ends. And Usopp is to be a brave warrior. So maybe he could get a fruit that makes him a lot more brave, but like, I feel like that'd be something that he would, even if he did get that, it'd be like right at the fucking end of the show practically, like at the very, very final battle. I don't know when One Piece is ending, but probably like, it might not even end by 2030, maybe. By the end of 2029, might not. When you factor filler episodes, random breaks, like the horrible pacing. And Wano was 4 years long, with breaks to be fair. How long is Egghead gonna be? It could be less, but even if it were less, and you know, 3 years would still be 3 years. Even if they stop the next arc after that in mid-2026, it's like, what do we do now? Dude, also they announced, and I have to watch it because it's connected to my list, the same guys who animated Attack on Titan are doing, like, have you seen Dragon Ball Kai, where it's like Dragon Ball, but like redone? They literally cut out like all the unnecessary content, like not just the filler episodes, but like the fluff in the episodes themselves. Like, I know in Z, there's one episode where Goku literally just charges up the Spirit Bomb for the literal entire thing. I haven't seen Kai, but that probably takes like 5 minutes in Kai. But yeah, yeah. Probably like... Like, people saying that One Piece is gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be like 300 episodes. No, it's not true. Because the pacing was a lot faster before, like, episode like 500. When you get rid of, okay, let's just say it's 1100 episodes for convenience sake. If you get rid of all the filler, then it's like 900 and something, so just round up to 1,000. Like, if it got rid, okay, I would expect it to be reduced to like 600, maybe 700. Still gonna be, I'd say like 600. It's still gonna be insanely long. You know what I mean? Anyway, I think that's it. Let me just very quickly, like, absolutely triple check. Yeah, pretty positive. I guess the only thing is I'm just looking to rewatch Kill la Kill. And maybe even rewatch some of these other ones. in general, to see if my opinions, because like I rated some of these when I wasn't as harsh of a critic, I guess, when my tastes weren't as refined. But Kill la Kill so far is like at fucking minimum a 9. Anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I reached an hour. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Like a boss.